What is up, everybody? This is another video and a very interesting video.
Cool.
Today we're going to be looking at
Thoughts.
thoughts. What are thoughts? Are your thoughts your thoughts?
Or
Or
are they just past experiences triggering them?
maybe. Let's find out. Let's dive right into it. You can't touch thoughts, right?
No, you cannot touch thoughts.
You can't. We had a discussion like this the other day. You can't touch it. You can't see it.
You can't even understand them really. It's kind of just hard.
Is it a biochemical thing whereby our physical or chemical activities trigger the way we think about stuff?
Sort of. Because, like, your
This is
thoughts
where
is basically...
before we split on this, because I'm thinking that your thoughts operate on a more spiritual and psychical level. Well, he thinks that thoughts is on a more biological level. I don't know what you think. I would love to know what your thoughts in the comments. But we're gonna proceed with this. Let me. Maybe it's gonna be a showdown right now. Your
Yes.
thoughts.
So the thoughts, they're basically just like your brain is a part of your nervous system. And your nervous system, how does your nervous system work?
Well, the nervous system consists of your brain and your spinal cord, which responds to stimuli in your surroundings, essentially. At least that's all I got.
So through these
Appendages or extensions.
it's like electrical wiring basically, because basically your cells produce electricity and then it runs through these kind of wires in your nervous system.
So it's basically electrical impulses.
Yeah, and then it goes to the brain. The brain is filled with neurons and brain cells.
And brain stuff. Brain cells.
Juices or
All right.
whatever. And your brain is actually not pink. It is gray and it has lots of crevices. The crevices are the main thing we're going to be focusing on today, because that's where like your memories and your thoughts are being held.
Whoa. So you're saying there are crevices in your brain where memories and thoughts are held. So is it held on a layer?
You'll see those pictures of the brain, like the squiggly bits, like inside
The wrinkled bits.
Yeah, inside of those wrinkles, there's like where the memory stuff. And
So wait, if I take out a portion of that wrinkled bit from my head, you telling me I'm gonna lose a chunk of my memory?
yeah,
Oh my goodness!
it depends on what part of the brain you take out.
Hold on. So you said I'm gonna lose a part of my memory. You didn't say I'm gonna lose my thoughts.
Well, it depends on what parts you're gonna take out. If you take out this part, you lose your eyesight, I think. Well, at least half of it.
Well, go on. You go on.
Yeah, so basically, when these electrical stuff hit your neurons, the brain has to give your muscles, your motor neurons, a response. So, that's why, like, an action like waving your hand when somebody's leaving, like, it's from a stimuli in your environment, probably your ears or your eyes, the most common places you get stimuli from. And then your brain takes that information and then it goes into your hand muscles and causes you to wave your hand. So that's a very simple example.
The mechanics or neurokinetics of the brain's function, but it still doesn't really dabble in the area of thoughts.
Yeah, so that's where I'm starting to get to. So what Daddy thinks is that thoughts are these kind of stuff that are not in the brain, they're everywhere, and they're just like, he has a whole different way of thinking about it. But what I say is that the electrical messages are like, you know how computers have memory?
Good. We know that.
So basically, it's just a bunch of electrical data with the electrons. And so that's like this kind of the same thing that's happening here.
So let's say we have this data in our head, past experience as we mentioned earlier, and these past experiences, we're able to use them to make informed decisions as to how the way forward and how to navigate our reality. Good. So that's basically extracting data, processing data, and executing an action. But that still is not a thought. A
So,
thought,
let's-
in my view, you're gonna go on. It's an after effect. It says, okay, a thought is this. I have done this. I have gathered the data. I know that crocodiles are not supposed to be played with. Now I use that data and I use it to avoid crocodiles in future. Now, this is where the thought comes in. I'm thinking about it. Maybe the thought is your brain's way of comparing data.
Yeah, so but that's where we get into like, you know how calculator works? Calculators are like a small base system of computer thought.
It is.
Yeah. So basically like it does basic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, square roots, exponents, whatever you give it, and it outputs on a number. Like we would have to think to do that.
Whoa. Hold up. So you will have to think. Yeah, you will have to think. Oh, thinking is a thought. So you will have to think in order to do that.
You can't do anything really without thinking. Some
But-
is subconscious thinking, some is conscious thinking.
But your thinking still has to do with your past experience to understand that 2 plus 2 is 4. So you're basically using data to think.
Yes.
Now, in the absence of data, you're saying.
Well, okay, where this goes crazy. Like, you, as a baby in the womb, what do you think you're thinking? Like,
As a baby in the womb,
yeah.
a baby in the room, I can imagine just thinking about the surroundings, how the food tastes, and the stimuli around him or her. That's all I got.
So, what I'm thinking about is that, like, the baby is just, like, finding out how to move, and that's why it may kick in the belly or something. It just doesn't know what much to do, and it's getting used to the environment of the womb. It's like all the thinking that it's been given, like all the data that it started it's in its genes. Like that's all. Everything else has to come from its surroundings.
So thoughts are not independent. Is that what you're trying to say? Because thought depends on your experiences, depends on certain facts that your brains have established. So
And it also depends on your gene system.
thoughts are why I mention that is because I believe that it is not just a retrieving of data and a comparison of data. Because if I have a thought that breaks the concept of physics and reality, and I say, okay, I believe and I'm thinking in my mind that I can fly without anything, without the aid of a jetpack, then that's a thought. And that thought isn't based on any known physical construct.
Well, it is. That's where I come in. And that's what you just said is a special kind of thought. We do it all the time. It's called imagination.
Imagination.
With imagination, you're not bound to real world constructs. You can think of anything. Think of it as like a sort of lucid dream. A lucid dream is basically a dream where you know what's going on in the dream. Except this time you're not really dreaming because you're awake, of course, obviously.
So you're saying it's not a thought. When a thought defies the laws of physics and reason, then it's an imagination.
Yeah.
Okay, so our imaginations, thoughts. You can imagine something, but is it a thought? I think
It's a thought.
it is a thought.
Yeah.
Even though it breaks logic and reason.
Yeah. So this is where things get interesting because as you grow up, you get data and other experiences, and those can affect your way of imagining stuff. Like, let's say girls are bred into believing stuff like imagining stuff like fairy princesses or unicorns. While boys might be like the complete opposite with guns and warfare.
And muscle,
Yeah.
bravery, and all these fancy things.
So,
We are a product of our environment,
yeah.
but then our thoughts are allowed to roam out. Is that what makes us a higher intelligent being? The fact that we can know the constructs and we can operate or think outside of the box, as it were.
Yeah, that's the power of imagination. And let's say that you had, so this is where brain power comes in. The level of imagination is determined by the level of brain power. And if your brain power is so high, that means your imagination is so high that that your imagination can break the laws of the outside world.
So that is becoming even, that's bordering on spirituality. Well, we're not going to really go into that in this video, but that is it for now. I think we captured a general synopsis of the thought process. I love the biology that you integrated into that as well. Any closing thoughts on this?
So, what do you have to say about this entire thing?
Well, as much as I believe you in that it's physiological, biochemical, electromagnetic, if it's such a thing. While it's physical in nature, thoughts can transcend the physical reality into a higher dimension. But that's for another day. That's for another video. And so that's what I have to say. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'll be surprised. Maybe check in the comments. What are your thoughts?
So, I just want to say that if you ever have a scary thought, like if you ever think that something bad is gonna happen to you, just think positively. That can sometimes change your way of thought, and that sometimes prevents the accident, because some people, when they're too anxious, they might cause bad things to happen.
So your thoughts can now even predict, can influence your environment, can influence the outcome. So thoughts, that's almost biblical, because when we think on positive thoughts, we generate positive energy, positive outcomes. That is deep, man.
Okay.
That's deep.
So, that's it for this video. Peace, love, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications. If you like this video, you can click like if you want to.
And
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah. Go ahead and smash that like button. That's it for now, guys. Peace.
Peace.